Hey there, everybody. It's Dr. Steve with Kinesi, and this is your Start Your Healing Now, what to do and where to start when you've got things bugging you. So today we're going to talk about a carpal tunnel syndrome, and so that's when the hand is getting numbness and tingling, and very often people will wake up with their hands kind of curled in, and sometimes the numbness can be so annoying that it's waking you up at night and disturbing your sleep. Very often repetitive motions like typing and a lot of computer work, or sometimes cashiers that are always reaching and grabbing, very often can get a carpal tunnel issue going on. Then what's happening is in the wrist there's a little tunnel called the carpal tunnel that the wrist bones make up, and then this big thick band of tissue that goes over the top. But underneath that little band of tissue in the tunnel, there's the median nerve and then a whole bunch of tendons. There's about 8 tendons that go through to attach to all of the fingers. So when we're doing lots of manipulation with the hands and lots of hand stuff, what can happen is those tendons can get kind of thicker, and then they can squeeze on that nerve and produce some of the numbness and tingling. But also tightness in the forearm tends to produce that. And it's a whole body kind of thing. It ties up into the neck. As the nerve is exiting the neck, that can be a source of where it's causing problems. But also shoulder blades and the shoulder mobility. When we get locked into our computer and device kind of posture, that puts everything into some poor positions that clamps down on the nerve and can contribute to the numbness and tingling. Many times people just go right into surgery to get the carpal tunnel cleaned out, and unfortunately for many of those people, they come out and they still have similar issues because a lot of the underlying causes weren't addressed with the surgery. They tried to free up some space in the wrist, but there's other issues in the rest of the parts that are adding to it. So we're going to go right after first mobilizing the median nerve in this part 1. We're going to do a little median nerve gliding. So for this, what we're going to do is we're going to start with your hand, and we're going to pretend that it's my right side, but we're going to have your hand by your side where you're bending the wrist back so that the palm is pointed towards the floor. That's putting a stretch on this median nerve. And then you want to lift this up out to the side. Feeling kind of a deep stretch along the arm is normal. Getting to the numbness and tingling or pain, we don't want that. So you want to be just below that level. But a deep stretch is normal, and that's what we're expecting. And then with the wrist bent back, that nerve is on stretch. And if we tip the ear over to that side, now we've put a little slack on the nerve from the neck end of things. So if that alleviates the symptoms or makes the stretch a little bit lighter, that's good, that's what we want. And then we do this little dance with the wrist and the head. The head straightens and the wrist straightens. So what we're doing is we're gliding that nerve back and forth in its little pathway. And so this is great to do when you first feel some symptoms come on, a little bit of numbness and tingling or something just kind of funny. Jump on doing this exercise right away. Can help sometimes reduce all of that to make it go away. So that's going to be the first one, some median nerve gliding. Then we're going to do another exercise, and this is getting a little bit more, we're kind of working our way from the localized to the more global approach. We're working our way up the arm. This is going to be a little more forearm, but you get a stick, any kind of stick. A broom handle without the broom on the end works pretty well, but where you want to grab it in the middle because we want it sort of balanced on both sides, and we're going to be doing a pronation and supination motion. So we're turning the palm up and palm down, palm up and palm down. And what we're doing is we're working through some of the muscles in the forearm, and particularly creating some blood flow in some of those deep muscles like the pronator and the supinator and the ones that are doing the hands going up and down. The median nerve runs through some of those deep forearm muscles. So as we're doing this, we're creating some blood flow to bring nutrients and oxygen and free things up. So you would do 20, 30, you could do 40 of these, just keeping it light and easy and using this as a real warm-up. A-okay to do both sides, but now if you want to make it a little bit harder, you choke up on the stick, so then it's a longer lever on one end, and that will create more torque. So you can take this same move and turn it into more of a strengthening exercise, but I would want to have you start with the hand balanced in the middle, where then you can go back and forth and there's not much resistance. And then it's as you progress little by little over time, you choke up on the stick, you make a longer lever, you get a little more torque, and turning it into more of a strengthening exercise. So that will be the first part one for dealing with a carpal tunnel and your median nerve. Be sure to tune in for parts 2 and parts 3, where we're going to take it a little bit more global and incorporate the rest of the body. And if you or anybody that you know or care about is suffering and dealing with this kind of stuff, send them in. Let us help. Let's figure out a plan and get them moving forward. Until next time, keep moving, everybody.